What is up, RotoGrinders? 2 hours of non-stop NBA DFS conversation. It starts right now. 6-game slate. So I would say that's right in the sweet spot. It's a 6-gamer. Of course, we have an NFL doubleheader. We do have a show for the NFL doubleheader, I believe 7:15, a little bit after crunch time. First NFL game is 8 o'clock, 8:15 or 8:30 is the second game. But, 6-gamer tonight. And as far as the association, it's kind of a doubleheader where it's split, not in half, because 4 of the 6 games start within the first half hour of the slate locking. We have 2 games at 7, 2 games at 7:30, and then we have a 2.5-hour break. We have Denver, Sacramento, Utah, and the Clippers. Of course, the potentially, I don't want to say slate breaking, but the news that's up in the air as of right now is with the late games, as far as the body parts, as far as who's in, who's out, who's questionable. Midday downgrade for Keegan Murray. He's got an ankle, so he's questionable. Utah should be clean. Clarkson's back. Sexton's back. The Clippers, nothing new there. But same game as far as Sacramento and Denver. We have Christian Brown, who's questionable. He's got a back. Last time, I believe my co-host here, Tasteful Tides, Tim, you guys know Tim, one of the best cash game specialists, three-entry max specialist, single game specialist around. Tim, I think both of us kind of fell for we were expecting Jamal Murray and to not play for Denver, and we got to kind of
that's right. Yeah.
And and then I was just sort of kind of somewhat stuck with Russ to some degree because I only had so many pivots. But Denver's not great as far as giving injury news is what I was kind of getting at. They tend to take their time. I don't think we're going to know as far as Christian Brown, and I'm not saying that's like earth-shattering, but we would get a boost for Russ. His price has since gone down, so he would be pretty appealing. I know we have an if-then for that as well. Sacramento, they play. We talk about Tibbs all the time, right? We talk about Tibbs and his minutes, but Mike Brown, he don't mess around either. He's in that Tibbs coaching tree or whatever you want to call it. He probably isn't, but the philosophy. And the other thing is, I was digging into this, and a lot of these teams are like that, right? You notice the schedule's kind of weird with, the Cup tomorrow night, solo game. Wednesday, there's no basketball at all. No basketball. Wednesday, and then Thursday, a ton of games. A ton of teams are playing. Tomorrow, just one game. But Sacramento has not played since last Thursday. They don't play again until Thursday. So he's going to run these guys. I'm telling you, man, I really feel – I saw we had 37 minutes on Fox, and I'm like, I think there's a chance we get like 40 out of Fox. I think there's a chance we get 40 out of Sabonis. If we lose Murray, this rotation is going to be crazy tight. This game does feel a little bit more important. There's 82 games at home. They want to light the beam up against one of the former champs, recent champs, Denver. I'm getting ahead of the conversation.
The midday questionable though makes me a little bit nervous. I agree with you. I mean, it seems like he should play, but the whole midday thing, just like popping up randomly in the middle of the day, does make me a little bit concerned. And he's projected for 36 minutes, so that's a ton of minutes that have to disperse across the rest of the team. I'm assuming Keon Ellis would be the big winner.
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, we already have him projected for 22 minutes at 3,400. So I mean, that's not bad by itself. But I mean, if we lose Keegan Murray, I'm assuming Keon Ellis might go all the way up to like 30 minutes.
Jay Crowder might get some run. He's 3K. Mm-hmm. The only reason why I mentioned him, right? He's somebody who would probably benefit to some degree. Would he benefit enough to be usable? I don't know. And Brown on the other side is questionable. Of course, the rest of the slates, 4 early games. So we haven't said hello to the chat. What's up, chat? Hey, hit that like button and subscribe. Oh, and turn on those notifications. Do all that stuff. And the people are probably. I have not pulled up chat just yet. I assume. Is chat lit? Are they excited? They cannot wait for clue number 1. Movie Monday.
Not a single person has brought it up.
Oh, well, they're too nervous to bring it up because they get excited. I imagine chat is palpable now with anticipation, waiting for clue number 1 for today's Movie Monday. And we'll go ahead and drop the clue. Yeah, sure. Why not? If you can make it in 1, congratulations. Hopefully you can't because it's more fun that way. But yeah, Movie Monday. What is that? It's your first time here. Why? Welcome. Hit that like button. Tell me what movie we're talking about and only answer in the Discord channel. That's where official answers are submitted. What is the Discord channel? It's RotoGrinders, rotogrinders.com/live stream chat channel. That is a free channel. Most of our Discord channels happen to be free. It would be really crude and just wrong if we would demand that you submit your answers in a Discord channel that's not free. Just need a regular, RG account. It doesn't cost you anything. First clue today for Movie Monday. Get ready. Brace yourself. It's already up on the board. Producer Steve's way ahead of me. It's fast. Fast. There you go. Fast is your first clue. So, and Tim, as always, I have to remind you, I know how much you love Movie Monday. Just please do not ruin the game. Just, put your answers, when you know it, just let me know privately and let the chat play along. Week free of RG Premium to the first person to guess the movie correctly. We have no Embiid. McCain is gone now for Philadelphia. It's just been a miserable season for the 76ers. Embiid came back. He had a pretty good first half, and then he had a sinus issue. Now he's gone for, they're saying, a week or so. We'll see. Stay tuned. It might be longer. You never really know with Embiid. And the thing with McCain, the Rookie of the Year, he might be done for the year, depending on the severity of his injury. And that has not been put out there, but I think that's a possible option with McCain. He's got a meniscus tear. Detroit, there's no Harris. Tobias Harris is out for Detroit. Miami's just got some fringe dudes that are out. Pele Larson, Jovic, Nikola Jovic. Jovic is not playing basketball tonight. Josh Richardson. Anybody else of note? Oh, we might have LaMelo. I think LaMelo comes back tonight. I think he's questionable officially. On the other side of that Philadelphia game. But we have sort of 4 games that are kind of meh. Well, I'd say 3 that are definitely meh. 2 that are pretty interesting. One that's kind of in the middle. I think the Clippers and Utah is kind of in the middle. Is that Dennis Schroeder got traded away too from Brooklyn. Didn't mention that, but you'd think oh my God, value's going to open up for Brooklyn. Not really.
Nope.
It's whatever.
Brooklyn's probably rates. I think they do rate out as the worst team of any team on the slate. I have to double check Sims real quick, but I think, no, I guess not quite the worst, but they're pretty far down there.
If it's not Brooklyn, I'm going to try to guess who the worst is. Well, it probably Charlotte, right? Is Charlotte the worst?
Yeah, Charlotte's the worst.
Because LaMelo coming back and everybody in his absence, they cooked to various degrees. Now they're overpriced because LaMelo's back and he's going to take away from Miller. He's going to take away from Bridges. The split with Williams and Richards is getting dicier now, right? It's kind of a mess. Mitchich is unplayable. All this under the assumption that Ball is back tonight. By the way, the Schroeder trade, I don't get it. Somebody's got to. I don't get it. I don't really follow contracts and stuff like that. But I did not understand that trade at all. I don't know how he helps the Warriors. Maybe a pinch, maybe. But they have 11 or 12 competent basketball players. Their issue is they got to 7, 8, 9, 10 has to somehow create a 4. And
right.
That's not. I don't think that's what Schroeder is. Backup point, I suppose. Are they going to play him alongside Curry? I don't get it. I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Ricardo in chat says it was to phase out pods, which I agree with. I think that makes sense, but still, I don't know. It seems like they gave up. Would they give up Melton, right? And what else?
Melton, I think is done for the year too.
He is.
I mean, I don't think they gave up a lot, but I just don't think Schroeder matters, right? It's basically, I'm not sitting on a yoga ball, but I guess my camera did move there for a second. My apologies. That'd be. Do you have a yoga ball? Is that something that's in your arsenal?
I do have a yoga ball.
Are those comfortable? They look fun.
They're all right. Yeah.
Well, you don't just watch TV on the yoga ball, right? I guess you yoga. No. Is that an adjective?
I do yoga. Yeah, it's true. True story.
Yeah. So it was Melton in some useless seconds, but I don't know. And I've seen it also floated out there that it was just kind of that's kind of the appetizer. Maybe they're going to make a move on Butler, which as a Heat fan, and I like Jimmy, I really do, but Miami's going nowhere. If you can somehow get something for Butler, by all means, let's get something for Butler. I don't know what you can get. He's owed $55 million next year. He's 37 next year. What are you really giving up for Jimmy Butler? But again, he's one of my favorite players in the league. But you know, Miami's going nowhere. They're stuck in the middle. Perfectly fine if they happen to move him. Okay. Why are we talking about the Warriors? We care about today and today only. It's a 6-gamer. You have general thoughts before we fully dive in and discuss tonight's slate?
I don't know if you brought up the Zach LaVine situation. He's the biggest piece of news, I think, that we're waiting on. We have an if then for that. If you were to be ruled out, both Josh Giddey and Kobe White would rate out extremely well, especially Josh Giddey. So yeah, I mean, I think that's the most important piece of news. I mean, obviously, like, Ball is more important, but I think he's gonna play. I don't think he's like truly questionable. And then really the whole like Nugget situation with Christian Brown, I don't think that's really that huge. Do you think that it's going to be Westbrook that starts or Strother that starts?
I think it could be an interesting thing for Russ. I think and we have a setup for that as well, I believe. Yeah, we would give Russ 32 minutes, and Strother 28, so he would be kind of the sixth man.
Yep. Okay.
That's another team that hasn't. A lot of these teams that haven't played in a while. They are well rested. Joker 36, Porter 34, Murray 33, Westbrook 32. And he would be in the green as far as like a DK value. Joker, of course, is amazing. Center is an interesting conversation. It always is an interesting conversation. One of my favorite plays on the slate happens to be a center, and just obviously FanDuel restricts you one center only. DK, probably a slate where I'm going to be playing 2 centers on my main lineup. The Chicago thing is of note because like 240.5 total, high and tight. They're 1 favorites here in Toronto. Toronto without Scotty Barnes, and quickly, of course, not there as well. If you run some optimal stuff, and I haven't run it, I know they just got an update. It's Toronto, 3 or 4 pieces on Toronto. At least that's what we're getting earlier. We're still getting that, like 3 pieces on Toronto.
Yeah, so you're still getting to like three pieces of Toronto.
Yeah, and I think they're like Barrett looks awesome, even though he's pricey. But there's a chance he triples.
He's gonna be the point guard though. I mean, he's not gonna be like a standard small forward, power forward. Like he's gonna be like the actual point guard. So his price is a little bit deceiving. I still think he rates out extremely well. So I'm not too worried about Barrett at all. He's gonna be, I think, the chalkiest player on the slate, I would assume. I guess Jakob Poeltl's might be more popular.
We got and this stuff changes, right? We have Barrett at 43% currently on FanDuel. Dick at 39% in FanDuel. FanDuel specific for Dick. They cut him short. 5'2". He's 5'2" over there. He's like 5'9" on DK, and we always talk about it. When you're distinctly cheaper, even just cheaper on FanDuel than you are on DK, you're probably a value over there. And he's shooting guard / small forward, right? So some versatility, and he's too cheap. If there's one hole you're going to poke in, Dick, better way to phrase that, it's that, Chicago's more vulnerable inside than they are outside, right? Kind of an inside funnel. And Dick, likes to fire from the outside. I'll stop with the puns. I don't know what I'm doing over here. But, okay. Yeah. DK. Let's talk about DK as far as the ownership stuff. The most popular players on DK, you thought it would be Poeltl, and that's where we have it. And that's kind of a bummer because he's my favorite player, and I didn't think I was being sneaky when I was writing him up, and I did bet his overs today as well. But, it's just the Bulls give up the second or third most, I can't remember it's second or third most opponent points, right? I'm sorry, the most points in the paint by like 3.5 more than the second worst team. It's ridiculous how much of a funnel they are inside. Poeltl scores like 80% of his points inside. He's got a career high this year. And if somebody's got to score points to this terrible team, he's got a career high in points, career high in rebounds, career high in minutes. And the Bulls also give up the 3rd most total opponent rebounds per game as well. So, like, if you're going to build an opponent for Jakob Poeltl, this is it. This is absolutely it. But, projections are right there. Teammate Magbo at 32% just has not fully adjusted as far as his price, and Barrett at 29%. So yeah, three Raptors as the most popular plays currently on DK. Former Raptor Norm Powell, fourth most popular, firing against Utah. Really, really good spot. Anything else of note we should get to before we dive in on the slate? I'm taking a peek at the Discord channel to see if anybody. Let's see. It is not gone in 60 seconds. Casey is saying the Flash. Philly Lakers guessing Talladega Nights. It is not Talladega Nights. It's not the program or Breakfast Club. Well, we can go ahead and drop the second clue as I throw this to Tim. Dropping the second clue now, which is trees. Trees is the second clue. Fast trees. Tim, anything else before we dive in and go to the old game-by-game deal?
No, I don't think so. I think we're good to go.
Let's do it. All right. I meant to say alrighty then, but I got the wrong line in my head for whatever reason. But the first game we're going to talk about is my Miami Heat. 219 is a total, not terribly appealing. Miami is a 4-point favorite here in Detroit. We talked about the Detroit being without Tobias Harris, the Heat without some fringe guys, Jovic, Pelly Larson, Josh Richardson. Detroit, otherwise, outside of Tobias Harris, they're pretty clean. Cole Swider does not get his revenge game. What is Cole? Is he available? Doesn't matter. Former Heat fringe player, very vengeful Cole Swider. But this one's not terribly interesting. But certainly they play the game, and the prices are pretty good on some of these Heat players. I like the Butler price on DK. I think it's pretty fair at 7.4. And if we're getting single-digit ownership on it, I don't mind that at all. Hero 7.6, Bam. Tricky part with Bam is he's a center, just more competition. And one of the potential cheapies is Drew Smith, which I don't know how to feel about it just because how fickle these rotations are in Miami. I know he's played with 30-plus minutes last time out. And some of their fringe guys are out to kind of sort of somewhat clear the way. But, maybe Rozier gets back up a few more minutes. Maybe Jaquez gets a few more minutes. It's just hard. It's my team. This is your team. You know how the rotations go. I can't really tell you when Spoelstra is going to change. He does in-game strategy stuff all the time. So I'm not sure how I feel about Drew Smith as a cheapie.
So I'll tell you,
yeah.
I saw the projected ownership on him and saw that he was going to be at least somewhat chalky. He's simming like horribly, only getting to him in 2% of lineups right now. So I mean, but like the rest of the Miami Heat, they're not simming that bad. Like my first look, I was like, this doesn't look that great. But then I thought about it and I was like, well, I think getting some exposure to like Duncan Robinson, if he's going to be lower owned than Drew Smith, I think that makes a ton of sense. And that's what Sims are showing as well. And then I also I don't mind taking shots on Tyler Hero, Haywood Highsmith as well. Jimmy Butler's not simming that well, but I agree with you. His price is really good, and I don't think he's going to be that popular. So I really wouldn't mind playing some Jimmy Butler. He's 7,400 on DK.
Pretty fair.
I think those are all like really reasonable plays. People can we'll get to it. People can obviously play Jokic if they want to. But I think Bam is a really, really strong GPP play as well. So I wouldn't go too crazy here with these Heat, but like maybe getting to like a max one of them, and then possibly adding a cheap Duncan Robinson, I think is reasonable. But I really don't mind this team.
Yeah, I don't mind him either. Early game, but again, the way the slate's set up, you have to kind of have a plan pretty early because 2/3 of the slate's being played in the first half hour, and you got to kind of wait. And we're probably not going to have news as far as Sacramento, and Sacramento and Murray and Brown for Denver. Defense versus archetype likes Drew Smith for what it's worth, but you're calling him a shooting wing. 0.84 fantasy points per minute in the season. It's fine-ish. Usage under 14%, obviously not dominating. Jimmy at 1.1 fantasy points per minute, almost 22% usage. It's amazing how good Kevin Love still is as a fantasy player. He just doesn't play enough minutes. He's averaging 1.46 fantasy points per minute in the season. That is awesome. But he just doesn't play, right? And he's a center. Just thought that was, there goes my camera. All right. I don't know why.
So we have Drew Smith projected for 26 minutes, but I think there's a lot of fragility in that projection. You know, like I don't think we can like really say that safely is going to be 26 minutes. Like, yeah, I guess he could go for more, but he could easily go for less than that, and he's going to be pretty popular if we don't get other value. So that's what concerns me about that play quite a bit. Like 20% for that, I think that's just too much.
I don't want to play him. I'm not saying I won't. I'm just saying I don't want to play him. That's not the plan. But like if I build a perfect lineup and I have 3-8 left, whatever it is, 4-2, I guess 4-2 on FanDuel. I guess maybe. As far as ownership on Detroit specifically, Cunningham's coming in about 20%, which that's on FanDuel, 18% on FanDuel. You know, he's in the 9s. It seems a little bit high for me. I'm just going to spend elsewhere most likely. I know he's really good this year, you know, good fantasy appointment player, but I don't think I'm there on Cunningham. I don't make enough lineups. I don't really want to play a ton of this game. Am I wrong? Should I be playing some Cunningham and like the single entry stuff? Because maybe he gets cut down as far as ownership and single entry stuff. Getting into it right now as far as our ownership. Yeah, we got Beasley's the most popular at 23%, Cunningham at 13%. Jalen, the Duren thing, man, he's so bad this year. He's regressed so much. And the matchup versus Bam's not great. I know, like, you can tell yourself a story at 5-6, and it's just Beef Stew's kind of outplayed him. And again, he's a center. I don't want to mess with that. I think Beasley is like a fringe, maybe.
I think Beasley is by far my favorite Piston. I am getting to some Caden Sims around 14%. So I would say that, you know, he's probably, I mean, he's about neutral play, I guess, according to Sims. But Beasley's the one that's really sticking out. 4,600 shooting guard, small forward. I think he's a really, really solid tournament play. I think you can play Beasley in single entry. Obviously, you can play Cunningham in single entry if you want to, but I think it's a little bit too risky for me. I would just reserve him for like the largest fields, and then I would play at least one Miami player on the other side if I do play Cade. I think that's probably the best idea. I'm trying to think, like, we probably don't have any interest in like Fontecchio, do we? He's probably a little bit too thin.
Too ambitious for me.
Yeah, probably a little bit too ambitious. I'm out on Duren. I just think the matchup is really, really tough. And then he's, like you said, we've got Stewart there, just to split the minutes with him at 4,100. I'm pretty much out on both of these centers. I guess it's really just Beasley for me that I would consider, and then Cunningham in like the largest field GPPs.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at. Oscar Thompson, we're still 18 minutes. There's not going to ramp him up anytime soon. It does not seem like it. Unexpected to happen tonight. Good defensive player, but 18 minutes is our current projection. Anything else of note as far as Miami, Detroit, or shall we move on?
No, I think we can move on.
Yeah, so LaMelo is on track to play as expected. That'll be our next game. Philadelphia at Charlotte, 216.5 is the total. Charlotte is a 3-point dog here. With LaMelo being back, I'm checking the injury report and seeing if we get any up. Oh, no, we're still a few minutes away from the 5:30. I thought it was 5:30 in the East Coast for some reason. Trey Mann is still out. Grant Williams obviously out for the season. Embiid is not playing basketball. Caleb Martin is out for Philly. What's his name is back. Lowry is back and available for Philly. The big one, of course, Jared McCain. If you just joined us now, if you missed it, he's got that meniscus tear, going to be out for a bit. Is there anybody? How many lineups you have to make until you get to somebody on Charlotte?
on Charlotte. Yeah, so I mean, we're giving Ball 31 minutes. Yeah, I guess who would I even consider playing from Charlotte? Maybe Bridges at 6,100. I don't think I can pay up for Brandon Miller at 89 with Ball in the court. With Mark Williams back, that kind of ruins Nick Richards. I don't really have interest in Williams or Richards. Micic is pretty much finished now with ball back.
He's toast.
I guess it's really just Bridges for me that I would even consider. And I wouldn't do it in my first 10 lineups, I bet.
That's kind of where I'm at. I mean, I don't know when or if it's going to come for Mark Williams, but like he's been really good fantasy-wise, but the minutes just haven't been there, right? 9, 11, 11, 17. He got 17 last time, and he was really strong in 17 minutes. And he's a good fantasy player. We remember this guy last year, but I don't know how much beyond 17 we're going to get, right?
Right.
I think we're expecting something similar. And again, the theme, he's a center, and it's just tougher when they're centers to take chances. We're giving him 18 minutes. We're giving Richards 20. Drummond on the other side can be kind of sort of something. I've tried this a couple times this year. It just has not really worked out. But like in theory, isn't Drummond supposed to be a good fantasy player? Not so much this year, 1.08. That's not terrible, but for his history, that's not spectacular. Yabusele, I think, is kind of interesting. Chance he closes tonight, probably starts alongside Drummond. 0.9 fantasy points per minute. Paul George, and Maxey should be taking a pile of shots. You got the Oubre revenge game, of course. Get excited about Kelly Oubre revenge. But stuff to go around here with no Embiid and no McCain. How do we feel about Philly?
Yeah, I think Philly's a fairly strong play today. Probably obviously not as strong as Toronto. Well, we'll get to that. But I mean, Philly's in a pretty decent spot here. I think Paul George rates out the best. Small forward, power forward. I think this is a pretty decent spot for him. It's definitely kind of a tough game. Like, I'd really hope that if you're going to play Philly, I really hope we have the news that we need from Chicago, right? Like, I'm worried that we're going to get like the Levine news like at 7:01, and I'd hate to like take up spots with Philly when Chicago's going to be the far superior play if Levine sits. So that's kind of one kind of thing I think to consider before you lock in guys with Philly. Drummond is simming horribly. So Sims are not really liking Philly outside of probably Paul George. And I think that's really about it. Oubre, actually, Kelly Oubre is simming decently. So it's definitely, I think Oubre is an interesting tournament play as well. Yabusele is simming far, far, far better than Drummond. So I think he's the better play. He comes with that very, very crucial power forward eligibility. So I think he's a little bit stronger than Drummond.
Just trying to think like a player like Maxey or George, dollar for dollar, they would fall behind, Josh Giddey, Kobe White, if we happen to lose Levine. That's your thought process?
That is my thought process.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's where I'm at as well. And you know what? They're not that far behind right now, I don't think. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just like if we're thinking about dollar for dollar, that kind of thing. They're not that far behind right now, and they can certainly. I don't know, but I think Levine plays. He's played through most stuff this year, but it's possible he sits. There's always trade rumors around him too, and I think he's got a contract that's tough to trade. Trade him for Jimmy, I suppose. No, don't do that, Miami. Bradley Beal's another one that supposedly nobody wants that guy.
Nobody's getting that one, are they?
I hope not Miami.
And I think he has a no trade, right?
I believe he does, yeah, which is double whammy. Yeah. I don't know who would want to trade for that. He signed a big deal in Washington and he was gone pretty quickly, I think. If I remember correctly. Am I wrong? There's several years on that, if I'm not mistaken. Are we getting news? Let's see if we're getting news coming in.
No, it's just about tomorrow.
Who wins tomorrow night in the Cup? Milwaukee or OKC?
I'd go with OKC. I don't know what the line is.
I'm gonna guess OKC's favored by like 4 or 5. I haven't looked at it either, but I like OKC. They are awesome. I'm also kind of biased. I have some futures on them, and I've sold myself on them from the start of the season. But they also, you ever watch? You don't watch a lot of the post games. The team, they like each other. It's a team that likes each other, Tim. Like they whenever they have like their post-game interviews, like the whole team takes part and just clowns around. SGA to tell one of his teammates to shut up the other day, which was kind of funny. And they had to apologize for telling them to shut up in mid-interview. But they just seem to like each other. It seems to be like a fun environment to be in that team. And also, they got a lot of young guys in that team that want an extra $500K. not that.
Oh yeah, it definitely matters to like the bottom 4 of each team. I would assume.
Oh yeah, for sure. And some of the guys that haven't got paid yet, right? Legit paid, right? Okay. Anything else you want to say as far as Philly and Charlotte?
No.
We did drop the second clue, right? Yeah, it's not somehow it went away, but fast and trees. It was just fast. I was scrolling there for a second. Do want to check the Discord. I don't think anybody got it in clue number 2. Turbo was a guess. Home Alone, Pineapple Express. Somebody guessed Ace Ventura of all things. 2-lane blacktop. I don't know what that is, but it's not that. I promise you, it's not that. Did McCain tear his meniscus doing? Is he on TikTok a lot? I don't know. I'm not on the TikTok. I mean,
you're asking me.
You're not a TikTok guy?
No. Remember when you sent me whatever that was, and I was like, that was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. What? I don't even
Boom!
remember. Yeah, that guy. I cannot believe the amount of views that gets.
Oh
Makes
my God.
me sick.
You're saying that's not a talented family? It's not a talented musical video they put together at Costco? There it is. That was fun sending it to you and getting your reaction. And I'm not seeking that stuff out, but it just sort of finds me. All right. Clue number 3 is slider. Fast, trees, and slider. Those are our 3 clues. Tell me what movie we're talking about. Let's jump on to the 7:30 games. Cleveland, the Cavs, they're playing in Brooklyn. 2:15, another just kind of like, 2:15 total. What year is this game being played in? This is not fun. Brooklyn is a 10-point dog here. They did trade away Dennis Schroeder. Otherwise, as far as the injury reports, what else is of note? Well, Evan Mobley's back, right? He's officially probable. That angle didn't play last game. Max Strus still out. I don't think we've seen him all season long. Brooklyn, Tyrese Martin is questionable. Not a big deal. The Anthony Melton that says trade pending, but doesn't matter because he's not going to play anyway. Zaire Williams is still out. Cam Thomas is still out. See if there's anything new on the injury report because we got a new one coming in every hour. 5:30. I don't think anything's changed. But yeah, Brooklyn without Schroeder. We're projecting Ben Simmons to start at points with Claxton, which is, I mean, that's a perfect formula if you're trying to tank, right? In the year 2024, like, do you want to kill your spacing? Start Ben Simmons alongside Nick Claxton, right? Okay. Garland, Mitchell, Okoro, Mobley, Jared Allen revenge game. Not just Jared Allen revenge game, but this is what's the dude's name? The coach for Cleveland. Starts with an A. I can't think of his name for some reason, but he was fired by Brooklyn as well, so maybe he wants to stick it to him. How do we feel about the Cavs and the Nets? Start wherever you want to start.
Yeah, like you said, like when they traded Schroeder, I was like, oh, we can definitely get some value from the Nets. But really, I don't have any interest in Ben Simmons at 5,500. I actually think my favorite play from this entire team, and Don Easy just said it in chat, is Shake Milton. Just as like a deep flyer. Certainly nobody for single entry, but I think he's a pretty solid play for large field GPPs. I would definitely be putting him in the shooting guard spot. 4,700, I think, is a pretty interesting price tag. I think Cameron Johnson at 7,200 is decent, but this matchup is so bad. Really, he's a pass for me. Like in most matchups, I'd be willing to pay that for Cameron Johnson, but not this one. So really, I would take a shot on Shake Milton. And if I was making like 20 teams, I'd put him in like 1. But really, other than that, I'm excluding Brooklyn.
Yeah, I like the Milton call. And if this game gets blown out, I'm sorry, I was reading something else. I apologize if you touched on this. If this game blows out, Shake probably mops, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay. That's why I think Shake is the best play. for Brooklyn is that if this game blows out, he's going to be on mop duty. So I think he's certainly somebody to consider if you're making a few teams tonight.
Yeah, Simmons can only play so much. Johnson's fine, but like the price is just kind of a little bit too baked up for me. With 7-2, like, he's fine. Whatever. Cleveland, tough opponent, blowouts. Brooklyn kind of sort of wants to lose. That's probably just going to take care of itself naturally because Cleveland's distinctly better. Kenny Atkinson, by the way, I couldn't think of the dude's name. That's the coach for Cleveland. He's going to get his revenge with Jared Allen combination platter. Let's jump on over to Cleveland. I don't think Cleveland's really exciting today either. Jared Allen's none of those centers, right? Mobley we're getting at 6%. Jared Allen's just not going to be played. So if you want to do that, just what is he going to do? Dunk harder? Like how many? He doesn't really create his own shots. He's a good rebounder, obviously. Maybe they'll set him up with a couple extra dunks or PNR stuff. I don't know. But in Mitchell's, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say Darius Garland on FanDuel is still too cheap at $7K. So I mean, on FanDuel, I would at least say I'd give Garland a couple looks, But other than that, and then Jared Allen also has power forward on FanDuel. So on FanDuel, I think this game is a little bit, or this team is a little bit more playable than on DK. DK, I have absolutely no interest, but I think Garland at 7,000, only projecting for about 10% ownership. I think that's completely fine, because that is a pretty cheap tag for him over there.
Tim, it's a 6-game slate. Does it feel like kind of smaller than 6 games to you?
Well, yeah, I mean, this is going to be a super condensed slate. But I mean, Sims still agrees with getting to that game with a total of 240 points, right? Like, how can we really play this Cleveland Brooklyn game? I mean, I can see getting to like maybe a piece here and there, but really you're gonna go heavy on some of these chalkier pieces, like in this Chicago Toronto game, because it's so much better than all the other games. And we haven't talked about the later games either. Those are pretty good.
Anything else of note here as far as Cleveland and Brooklyn, or shall we scoot? Shall we move on?
Yeah, let's move on.
Okay. Here's one of the 240 games. Well, I guess the other one's not technically 240, right? Denver, Sacramento, 237 and change. We'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, Chicago, Toronto, this is a game for us. This is a game for the DFSers. If you like basketball, this probably isn't necessarily the first game you're going to watch this evening. 240 and a half. I don't want to discount the hook there.
This is the only game I'm going to be watching.
Are you watching the basketball over the football tonight? Or have you decided? Or hockey? Is there hockey going down? There's got to be some hockey.
There's only 3 games of hockey, so I'm actually not playing any hockey DFS tonight. Just football and basketball.
But the Panthers play tonight, aren't they? In Edmonton.
They are. That should be a really good game.
They've been stinking of late. They're not good on this road trip, unfortunately. They won the Stanley Cup yet last year.
Almost like they've been playing over their heads for the last couple of years, Dean.
You're taking a victory lap on the team that won. If you remember, the Panthers won the Stanley Cup, and as a reminder, here's a Sergei Bobrovsky signed puck showing off one of his great saves during that run. How about that? Just right there on cue. It just happened.
Unbelievable.
The other day.
Wow.
It's number 1 of 172, and I thought it'd be fun to get like 1 or 172. I got 144.
Nah, that's not great.
That's run bad. There's nothing sexy about 144, right? I don't think so. Okay. Bulls, Raptors, 240 and a half is the total. We don't know about Zach LaVine. We probably know at 7 o'clock. I would assume so. Crunch time's coming in, 6:15 or so on the East Coast. Not sure if they'll know. I believe that's TJ Zwarych, one of the greatest DFS players in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. Speaking of Canada, he's still probably too far away to catch the Panthers in Edmonton. I think Kirkdiese. By the way, side notes. Kirkdiese, his avatar in the Discord is me. He's an imposter. He has
what?
me. Yeah. His picture, his avatar, the Discord channel. If you find Kirkdiese, he stole my picture.
Wow.
Yeah. What is that?
I don't know what that. I don't even know what that means. Like what is he trying to do with that?
I think it's an homage. I'm not sure, but
Could be.
I just noticed it. Yeah, I just noticed it today, and I'm like, wait, that's my picture. I'm like, oh wait, that's what did I say? No, I didn't say anything. That was
it's your picture with the shades.
Yeah.
That is an all-time great picture though. So I don't blame him.
Yeah, one more reason to jump in the Discord channel, not just to win a week free of RG Premium. You can see Kirkwood's picture of me. Well, you can see it on if you have Lineup HQ. You can see it as well on Lineup HQ with the shades. Yeah, it's not that I was trying to be like a badass or whatever. It's just I had those glasses that when you go outside, and how infrequent ever it is, but you go outside, like it changes. All of a sudden, your glasses start tinting up, and that's what happens.
The sun can be scary, Dean. I know.
It is. It definitely is scary up there. Back to Chicago and Toronto, 240.5 total. Again, no Scotty Barnes, no Quickly for Toronto. We're expecting Dick Agbaji, RJ Barrett, Mogbo, and Pirtle to draw the start versus Giddey, White, Levine, Tasumu, and Vukovic. We saw in the absence of Luke last game, Jalen Smith really got loose. Pat Williams came back, wasn't very good, wasn't really pushed. I think he played 15 minutes or so in his first game back, but Lonzo, he's probable, with his knee. He can only play so many minutes, right? As far as Toronto, Bruce Brown not back yet, but maybe soon they're talking about him ramping up at some point. We'll see. But yeah, talk to me about the Bulls and the Raptors. It sounds like this is your favorite game on the board, just like everybody else. Probably everybody else's favorite game on the board.
Yeah, I mean, this is obviously the top game on the entire slate. The Levine news is huge. I'm not as optimistic as you, Dean. I do somewhat agree with you that he will play, but I'm not as optimistic. So definitely something to pay attention to. I mean, Kobe White and Josh Giddey, I think, are really good plays anyway. And then I think Zach LaVine would also be a fantastic play if he does play. I also think getting to Vucevic on the other side as like a contrarian play. I don't think he's going to be. Yeah, he's only projecting for 6% ownership right now.
Center.
So yeah, I mean, everyone's going to be playing Pirtle, which is fine. Pirtle's an amazing center play, but just to get some leverage, maybe in this game, the best game of the night, maybe play Vucevic at 6% instead of Pirtle at 50%. So I think that there's ways to build in this game and to be different. So I think that's one of those ways is to play Vucevic. You could possibly play Vucevic and Pirtle, and just get your exposure to that game through the center position. So I think that's. I mean, this is easily the top game of the night, and you don't want to just load up on Toronto. I do want to get some Bulls exposure, even if Levine plays.
What sort of rules can we play? Can we play 4 Raptors in tournaments? Are we cutting it off at 3?
I guess I'd probably do max 3.
I think I would too.
And then I'd probably also do a couple min rules also, like min 2.
Yeah, I think that's just going to happen naturally for me.
I know, right? Yeah.
I think I'm going to play at least 2 Raptors in every lineup. I'm running some stuff right now. We have an update as far as lineup HQ. I'm not really sure probably some tinkering. But yeah, first lineup on DK, 4 Raptors, next one 3, next one 3, then 4. A lot of Clippers too. I think I have less Clippers than the optimizer wants to give me. You can only get 4 on FanDuel. And we mentioned earlier, Dick was too cheap on FanDuel, specifically at 5.2, and Pirtle's really good as is. Barrett is also too cheap over there. Again, the cheat code. If you're cheaper on FanDuel than you are on DK, you're probably at discount. Dick is cheaper on FanDuel than he is on DK, as is RJ Barrett, who's 8.8 over there. Looks like a really, really strong play. How do we feel about the Mogbo? How fringy is that? How solidified is his role? Because there are other punts around. And do we feel good about him as a punt?
I mean, he's simming really, really well. I'm getting to about 35% of him in Sims, which is quote the best value guy in Sims, outside of Kevin Porter. So he's simming really, really well. He does have power forward eligibility, which is great. I think he's a fantastic play. He is how much? I'm trying to find out real quick. He is the same price or a little bit cheaper than Malik Beasley. You can play them both in that forward spot. I would imagine Beasley is going to come in like way lower owned than Mogbo. So Beasley might be a decent pivot off of him. But if you're playing like single entry or like cash games, something like that, Mogbo is a fantastic play. I am worried that like in higher dollar single entry, he's going to get really, really steamed.
That's what I'm worried about too. That's kind of what I was getting. That's what I'm sort of getting at.
Yeah.
Is he going to be like 50% owned in single entry stuff? And is that something I want? And you can't just say no. You have to like answer like, okay, how do we? Well, what are we doing if we're not playing him? And it might
I think it's Beasley.
Yeah. Or just a different way to build, I guess.
Yep. Or you maybe go double center in that game and don't go, just kind of like change your roster construction by going Vucevic, Pirtle, and no Mogbo. That would be different. That'd be very, very different.
Well, we talked about liking Jimmy. You could play Jimmy Butler. I know it's different as far as salary, but that's another way to do it differently.
Yeah,
I think that might be a route that's worth considering if you can find the salary, obviously. But I like that thought process. And if I'm running 3 on Toronto, I'm gonna I don't like to force. I have to run back at least one bull, right? I think I got to play one bull with that lineup. I think
so.
Yeah, and we don't know as far as Levine.
I like Kobe White the best, and that's with Levine in, and then obviously Kobe White definitely, and Josh Giddey if Levine is out. Who do you like? Who's your favorite bull?
It's not Levine.
Plays? Okay,
it's not Vuk. Is just I just don't see myself really being able to make that work with the centers. I get the ownership angle. Coming back from an injury. Was it an illness or an injury? It might have been an illness he missed the game for, right? I don't think I'm going to get the Vuk. I understand you want to play the angle as far as ownership, sure. I'm right there with you. It's not the best matchup in the world, I don't think, the bang with Pirtle. The DVA has him at a 23 defense versus archetype for what it's worth. I think my answer, it's not Levine. It's either White or Giddey. It's one of those two. Giddey's been the better fantasy point player, but his minutes have been a little bit more volatile, right? A little bit more up and down. We're giving Giddey 28, White 33. We've seen some times where Giddey doesn't close. We've also seen some times where Giddey puts up like 50-point triple doubles. So like if you're shooting for ceiling, it's probably Giddey.
Probably Giddey for you, yeah. Okay.
I think the floor is not as appealing as I necessarily want it to be. Dosunmu is just. I need Levine out for Dosunmu, I think. It's 6-2. Speaking of what, he had a triple-double and a 50-pointer. That was amazing. Was it a week or so ago, 10 days ago, when several people were out. Somebody was out, and he started and absolutely went nuts. That was a fun time.
And then what about, I always mispronounce his name, but Buzelis?
Buzelis. Yeah, he's actually – he looks like he can be a player. He looks like he's a rookie. He looks pretty decent. They're still kind of like his minutes are not insane just yet, but – at some point, I think it's going to start creeping up a little bit more. But he's a bit of a talent. He can hit a 3. He can fly a little bit. I don't know what his
and he's cheaper than Mogbo too. That's another way to get different in that power forward spot.
What are they projecting for him? Like 17 minutes or so?
18 minutes, 16 fantasy points at 3,800.
I wanted to pull up stats for the season. For some reason, I don't know why this is, but for rookies in Lineup HQ, Lineup HQ has everything in it, right? But for some reason, the rookies don't have like the usage. They don't have their fantasy points per minute in it. So I have to go to Court IQ and pull it up. I don't know why that is as far as rookies, but yeah, on the season, Buzelis 0.91 fantasy points per minute. His usage is almost 19% or so. THT, I know he's like not a good player, right? A lot of people think he's like one of the worst players in the league to actually get some minutes, but he's been pretty good. 1.16 fantasy points per minute when he gets run. Probably not getting a ton of run tonight, but maybe would get some a little bit more if Levine is out. We're projecting him, for just 4. Yeah, but maybe he would get a Is he in the if then is an interesting bump? Probably
Who's
not.
that?
TXT, Horton Tucker, probably not enough. 18 minutes, still wouldn't be. Probably wouldn't be enough to talk about. Okay. We do have a winner. We have a winner in the chat. I do want to play us out. But we do have a winner in the Discord channel. We'll shout him out in a second. The clue number 4 in our Movie Monday. Fast Trees Slider Stone. Stone is our next clue. Stone is our next clue. Tim, do you know the answer? Did you see that? I don't know if you jumped in the Discord. You happen to see
I do not know the answer.
Yeah, you're not going to believe it, but one of the producer Steve's telling me the clue should be different. Well, I thought that would be super obvious if I added one more letter to that, but yes. You're friend of the show. I use the air quotes. I like to say friend of the show. Is Broccoli Boy a friend of the show? Because he guessed the answer correctly in the YouTube, but I guess he doesn't have access.
Incredible.
Yeah. So I don't know if it was an assist. It was like a John Stockton. And somebody else. Wait a second. That all makes sense. That all checks out. And it's only official if it goes in Discord. And somebody.
I did see his guess, and that's a great movie.
Me and Steve were debating pre-show. Like Tim's definitely seen this movie before, and Steve's seen it more than once. It sounds like he was excited about the movie as well.
I've definitely seen it more than once. Also,
we'll discuss soon enough. 2 games at night. Denver, Sacramento, 237.5 is a total. Again, we have a big break. 10 o'clock is the starting time here. 2.5 hours after Chicago, Toronto, Cleveland, Brooklyn. Some potentially dicey news in the air. Not huge, but worth noting. It could be interesting. Could move a few things. Is the questionable status of Keegan Murray, a midday downgrade, which is always suspicious. They gave him an ankle. He's questionable with an ankle. And Kevin Huerter officially out. Probably going to be out for a little bit. So they're thin. And Sacramento plays a really tight rotation with their starters. And again, they haven't played since last Thursday, and they don't play again until next Thursday. So this is a really, really, fresh team. I can see, you can only project the minutes so high, but I really think that we might get 40 minutes out of Fox, 40 minutes out of Sabonis, barring goofiness, wonkiness, foul trouble, yada, 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 blowout. The other side, Denver, we don't know about Christian Brown. He's officially questionable as well. And our projection team thinks that if he does not play, Westbrook would probably be the biggest benefactor jumping in the starting lineup. Otherwise, everything else is as is. Probably this is the silver medal game, right? If we're going to hand out medals, Denver, Sacramento, silver medal.
Yeah, overall, I mean, I do have some interest in the Clippers that we'll talk about, but yeah, I'd say overall, yes.
Where do you want to start as far as Denver and Sacramento?
Yeah, so I mean, Jokic is going to go severely low owned today. He does not project that great in terms of points per dollar. He's 12-2. We don't have any screaming value as of right now, but I mean he's going to go extremely low owned. So anytime you get him this low owned, I think you have to have him be a part of a portfolio of teams. In single entry, he's going to be a really, really interesting and tough decision.
Not going to be played.
Right. I mean, he's not going to be played in single entry because so many people are going to lock in Pirtle into their single entry stuff. Jokic is just not going to get played. So I mean, he doesn't even really sim that well either. But I mean, I'm getting to him around 6% in sims. So it's definitely a really, really interesting decision. Plus, if Brown sits and we get Westbrook at 5,700, I think that's another interesting play. So, I mean, Denver is tough. And I think Aaron Gordon's in play in this matchup at 5.5 as well.
Too cheap.
So, yeah. So, I mean, this is one of those reasons why I don't want to lock in a whole lot of spots in that 7 o'clock window, despite the fact that I kind of like Philly. But I mean, I want to save my roster spots for these much, much, much juicier games. So, yeah, I mean, I think Aaron Gordon is way too cheap. Russell Westbrook would end up being way too cheap. Strother also, I think he'd be a really, really strong value play. So,
he'd be all right. Yeah.
Yeah. And then on the other side of this game, if we lose Murray, Keon Ellis, I think, would be a fantastic value play. So, and then you're right, the starters like Fox and Sabonis could easily play 40 minutes. Malik Monk already rates out fantastic. If we lose Murray, he might have to play. He's probably going to play more minutes as well. So, this game, there's a lot to like on both sides of this game. And that's even without any injuries.
So, our defense versus archetype matchup tool, it's around this time where they start unleashing it, right? We're starting to build up a sample, and how that works is every single player is given like an archetype. You got to put a tag on him, right? Yeah. De'Aaron Fox is a combo guard. That's what we're calling him. Like there's post bigs. Alex Len's a post big, right? That was the name that popped up. I know nobody cares about Alex Len, but so De'Aaron Fox combo guards against Denver this year. Number one matchup on the board, defense versus archetype, and number one matchup for 3 and Ds. And we're giving Keon Ellis the 3 and D tag. Malik Monk also a combo guard, also number one matchup here. Denver lost KCP. Their wing defense has certainly taken a big hit going back to last season. Do you have a plan as far as like if this, if that, if we don't get the news? And I don't think we're going to get Murray news. I don't think we're going to get Brown news before 7:30. We might. I don't think we will. But do you have an idea of like, well, I'm going to do this in hopes of that, or it's just like you're going to pick a path, or you're just going to not mess with it? Have you figured it out?
Well, and a lot of this depends on Levine too, right?
Sure, it's a lot of moving parts.
A lot of moving parts here. Assuming Levine plays, I'm gonna have to try to leave some kind of 2v2 open for these 2 late games. I have to, because it ended up being such good value. So yeah, I think I'm going to try to leave a 2v2 here for these 2 late games.
In chat, Dean saying just play Bones and swap to him. Swap to Keon if Murray sits. What is Bones Highland's projection? Yeah, I mean, he's projected for 13 minutes. I mean, yeah, I don't want to be. I hear you. That's a plan. Another one would be maybe KPJ if you have the salary, and I know he's popping as like a play as is. We'll get to that in a second. I think that's a little shaky, but might not be, because the Clippers might just blow out Utah and he could crush in the fourth quarter again like he did last game. Because he barely played 7-8 minutes or so in the first half. All right. We'll discuss the Clippers in a second. You want to prioritize the Kings for me? I really like Fox. I like Sabonis, but center. I thought Murray was interesting if he plays. I don't know if the midday.
I think Monk is my favorite. If I'm talking like points per dollar.
Yeah, he's going to play a ton of minutes.
And then if Murray misses, it's Keon Ellis points per dollar.
No hurter, really. I mean, not that the minutes weren't solidified for Monk, but like hurter. There's just not much there. Their rotation is going to be super tight. I really expect. And again, I think they just want to. I know I try to create this narrative in my head. Maybe I'm just making it out of nowhere, but this is in Sacramento in your arena against the defending champs, or whatever. 2 years ago, defending champ. One of 182, one of 82. Just feels like a bigger game is all I'm saying. And again, the team is really rested. It's the island game of island games. Power rank Sacramento. You said you had number one
Monk,
is
Monk, and then Ellis would be number 2 if Murray sits. If Murray doesn't sit, then it's still going to be Monk for me, then Fox, and then Sabonis.
Casey says if Murray gets ruled out, everyone on Sacramento's bench besides Ellis is 3K. Is that true? Everybody's 3K?
Yes.
Crowder, yeah. They might do like the fake starter McDermott, which I wouldn't fall for that.
I didn't fall for that last time, thankfully. I'm not going to fall for it this time either.
Isaac Jones, Colby Jones, yeah. Orlando Robinson. They have a terrible bench. Man, Sacramento's bench is horrendous. No wonder why they play these guys so much. Crowder, right? We don't have an if then set up. I don't believe we have.
Zach Levine is out.
Okay. All right.
So it's Josh Giddey. Dalen Terry is out.
Okay. I think we kind of expected that one.
Did we already have him out? I didn't.
I think he was on the injury report. I can't remember if he was questionable or not.
We had him. We had him for a couple minutes actually.
He was officially questionable. Now he's out. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Giddey and White are both going to look good, and Desuma is going to get a bump too.
Man, I was really hoping that we were going to get that at 7:02, not 6:02.
Yeah,
that stinks.
But that like Toronto Chicago game stack is like you could play 6 or 7 guys in that game in your lineup.
I'm sure they're going to be popping, and like at least 6 are going to be in the optimal from that game.
Yeah. How do you get different is the question. Because
I still think Vucevic is going to go very low owned.
He is, but what does he have to put up? Like if he puts up 42,
42 clearly is not enough. But
he didn't really severely hurt you. He definitely didn't help you. Yeah,
but if he goes for like 55,
okay, then we're in business. Yeah,
right. Which I don't think that's completely out of the question in this matchup.
Anything else we want to say about Denver, Sacramento before we move on and talk about the hammer game that is Utah and the Clippers?
No, I think we can go to the last game.
I'll drop the last clue, by the way. I know a lot of people know the answer at this point, but if you're playing along and you didn't get the reveal, Movie Monday, fast, trees, slider, stone, plan. Plan is clue number 5. Plan is clue number 5. Or mission is another word I considered. There's another one for you. Rocker was also on the board of words I considered. Rocker. But there you go. There's a bunch of words. Shout out to Gregorius the Wise in the Discord channel. Won a week free of RG Premium. I think actually he selected Scores and Odds, which that works for you as well. Also want to mention, I should go ahead and mention Splash. Boom! There it is. The boom meter. I don't know what prompted the boom meter, but anytime to tell Tim. Yeah. Splash. Shout out to Splash. We have a nice sweet promo code for y'all. It's called ROTO10, ROTO 10. They have a college football contest with 11 total games that is locking Friday night. $50 in entry. Entry wins you $15K. I have to look into it. I'm not really sure is this about the playoffs? Is it a playoff? This is a new promo to me. I've not seen this before. I thought I was going to be the old standard Splash promo, but Roto10 is your promo code. I'm not sure if we have this is the one where you spend 50 and spend 100 and get 50. I'm not sure if that's the one or if that is expired, but that is your promo code. And college football streets, not my lane, Tim. But are we excited about the college football playoff? Do you care about this thing?
I do not pay attention to college football very much.
I know you don't have a pro team. You don't have a college team either, right? I assume you don't have a college team.
Definitely not.
Definitely not a college team. I mean, my team won it several years ago. You can't win the national championship every single season, so it's a lot of fun. But I guess we'll be back soon enough. Go Knights. All right, last game. Last game on the board is Utah and the Clippers. Clippers are 8-point favorites here. 223.5 is the total. Who's in and who's out here? Utah is pretty healthy. Jordan Clarkson, he's good to go. Svi Mikhailiuk is out, but who cares? Sexton's still available to play with that finger. And the Clippers, outside of Kawhi and Terrence Mann and PJ Tucker and DJJ, nothing really new. Everybody else is good to go. This is the game I'm afraid of, not having enough players on, specifically on the Clippers, because I feel like it could be a big Harden game, and he can certainly outscore Fox. I'm probably not going to get there. Powell looks really good as well. The centers are fine. I don't think either one of these centers gets me. But how do you feel about if you kind of insinuated, you hinted at it before, that you liked some of the Clippers?
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of those Clippers were guards, and now we have Io, White, and Giddey. So the Clippers just kind of shrank for me quite a bit. And I'm sure the Sims are going to reflect that too. I did have interest in Chris Dunn at 4,200. He was simming fantastic. But again, this was before all the Chicago news. So was Harden, and so was Norman Powell. I would imagine Norman Powell's ownership is going to go significantly lower now that we have better shooting guard value. But so that might make him a pretty solid mid-range GPP play. I think the Clippers are worth a couple shots, maybe in large field GPPs now, but really they're not as good now with Chicago news.
Given a refresh, the lineup HQ, I guess they haven't quite got there on Chicago, but coming in soon. I wanted to see what optimal stuff was coming out with the, Levine being ruled out, but has not been changed just yet. I imagine it'll be coming in soon. Favorite player on Utah? Is that a trick question?
I don't have anybody that I would consider on Utah. I guess maybe Walker Kessler, but I think that's pretty thin, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and going up against Zubac is like not the best, cleanest path, and I don't really. I know.
I think Zubac might be an interesting tournament play, just to like pivot off of some of that Pirtle chalk. This is a matchup that he should do well in.
I don't mind it. Utah, one of the better rebounding teams in basketball, for what it's worth, but I could see him being all right. And it's not the worst pairing with like Harden. They do some pick and roll stuff sometimes. You don't have to correlate. I'm thinking of correlation. You don't have to, but it's nice. It's always nice when you have those two players and you get that the 3.5 points there with the assist and the dunk. I don't have anybody in Utah either. I know Keontae George has had some big games of late. It's just I still have a hard time getting excited about it. Our ownership stuff, everybody is in single digits. I know Markkanen's down to 6'9". I don't know if he's still just kind of dealing with his injury. He's just rusty or whatever. He just hasn't looked great. It's kind of out. I'm kind of out on Utah. And the KPJ thing, he's good if they blow out Utah. I don't know if it's a full-on mopping. I think we got a full-on mopping last time. I don't know if that's guaranteed. It's possible. If he's going to be owned, I think he's a good fade, but I don't know how owned he is now.
It's gonna be interesting to see because Kobe White's gonna be so high owned, and so is Giddey. Because Kevin Porter was the player I'm getting the most of in Sims pre-Chicago news. So I was getting to 48% of him.
Woo.
That's gonna change.
It's too much for me.
I'm assuming. Yeah, but still, I mean, I think he was a strong play. I think he still would be a decent play even with this news.
Christopher asking about Sexton. Like I can't get excited about it. By the way, Buzelis is hitting some stuff.
Oh yeah,
with the cheapie.
I think he's gonna get up to about 25 minutes now. That was in the if then.
Oh man, I like him as a player too.
Yeah.
It's not a huge projection for what it's worth, but you're getting. I just ran, let's see, 3 Bulls, 3 Toronto, 2 Heat. That's what I'm seeing as my first optimal. You're getting the Bulls. Who's the most popular? Kobe White is the most popular Bull right now. Not too far behind is Giddey, Buzelis. But yeah, a plethora of Bulls for sure. Do want to give the people some clarity on I saw people asking about the clues for our movie Monday. We also have Roth coming in. No, I don't think it's Roth. I think it's actually TJ hosting the show. I think it's TJ going to be playing the host. Did I read the email incorrectly? I know it's TJ and Kirkwood coming in for crunch time in about 5-10 minutes or so. Take you guys home for the 6th gamer. If you have any questions, we'll do our best to knock those out as well before we get to them. But Tim, today's movie. First clue was fast. Second clue, trees. Fast was a kind of a, first clue is never supposed to be perfect. It's supposed to be it makes sense, but don't want to you don't want to spoon feed anybody. But fast was kind of like a hint for fast food. Trees I don't know if you know this, Tim. You got to be one of the cool kids to know this. But like smoke some trees is a term that some people say. Slider. I thought that was going to throw some people up. I think in baseball, slider. Those little mini sliders. You ever some fast food restaurants sell those. By the way, this fast food restaurant not good. People like this for some reason. It's not a good fast food restaurant.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good.
Oh wow. Okay, we'll talk about it in a second. Stoned. If we added a D, it might have been easier, but yeah, stone. And 5 was like a plan or a mission. Of course, we're talking about, and I said rocker because I was making a reference to Harold and Kumar Rocker, of course, a famous pitcher for the Rangers, young pitcher for the Rangers. Yeah, it's Harold and Kumar go to White Castle. You think White Castle's good? Because I don't think it is.
Like Derek said in the chat, White Castle is great late night food.
Yeah, that's a qualifier when there's nothing else open and you're drunk.
I don't think you have to be drunk. I don't know. I don't think you have to
or did something else.
Yeah, no. I think you can go in there completely sober, Dean.
You're telling me like 2:00 in the afternoon you're gonna go to White Castle? No way.
Well, maybe I will.
Yeah, I mean it's no other choices, and you go to that should be today's poll. Too late, but is White Castle actually good? If you're going to power rank, fast food chains, it's like it's the bottom. It's it's way in the.
I don't agree.
Yeah, it's kind of trashy. It's not for me. I mean, we had a bad experience. I think I've been there once, to be fair. I don't know why I'm just piling on. There was this place that was just like White Castle called Crystal Burger, which is Crystal Burger still a thing? I think it's in the South.
I've never even heard of that.
I'm not sure what one. Crystal Burger is either bootleg White Castle or White Castle's bootleg Crystal Burger. But yeah. Is that somebody let me know in chat? Is Crystal Burger still a thing? It's still okay. Derek's saying it's still a thing. It still exists. All right. Also not good. So I think what happened is I had a bad experience at Crystal Burger and I'm blaming White Castle for it. I think that's what happened. In any event. Wow, is that correct? We only have 37 likes. That is egregious. That's outrageous. That's absurd. Yeah, kindly hit that like button and subscribe as well. We'd appreciate that. If you subscribe and you turn on those notifications so you know when we go live. If you're playing football tonight, you're playing the doubleheader. We're going live, I think 7:15 on the East Coast. I say we, not me, but RG. So turn on those notifications if you're playing tonight's 2-game NFL slates. Crunch time coming in momentarily as well. Other questions in chat? Anybody have any 2v2s? I did see. I flew right past.
So we had a question about Ronald Holland and projections. We did get him in there. We were having a naming issue. That's what happened. So that's all fixed now.
Okay. Is that yeah? Just like why isn't he there? Basically.
Yeah. And he
it's Ron. That's what if you know him well enough, you just call him Ron.
Right. Exactly. So
that's the issue.
Yeah, we did have a couple of questions about him earlier in the show. That has been dealt with.
Eric wants to know if Hardee's is still around. I think isn't Hardee's just it's East Coast Jack in the Box, right? Is that
I've never been to a Hardee's.
Yeah, I mean I can't tell you the last time, but like it's whatever. I think it's the same thing. Oh, Carl's Jr. That's what it is. Carl's Jr. is the same place as Hardee's.
I've never been to either one of those.
It's all it's all the same. Yeah, just like Checkers and Rallies. Yes, Checkers and Rallies. Have you been to a Checkers or a Rallies, Tim?
No.
Yeah, well, and you're there standing for White Castle, though. Fair enough.
Yeah, I thought it was quite good.
Yeah, but what do you remember? You were coming.
I was completely sober. I was completely sober. I flew into Cincinnati, Ohio at like 4 a.m. and I had White Castle, and it was fantastic.
Really?
Yeah.
Was oh god, what's the 3-way, the 4-way, the 5-way? What's the Ohio, the spaghetti and the cheese?
Yeah. I tried that too. I can't remember what it was.
Not very good. So, Skyline chili.
Chili. Yeah. That's not for me.
It's so weird. There's one right around the corner for me. Like I'm in Florida. They're all basically based in Ohio, it's my understanding, but for some reason there's one right around the corner here at a place. And I went once, and that was fine. Once was good enough for me. Okay, We should have TJ and Kirkwood coming in momentarily. The chat's just talking food now. I guess that's kind of sort of somewhat our fault. But I was waiting for some questions to come in. I guess we'll save those questions for crunch time. Let's see, more discussion in the Discord as far as White Castle takes. Fair enough. Who's breaking the slate, Tim?
I knew you were going to ask that question.
This is not your first show.
I know. I think I'm going to go with De'Aaron Fox.
I like Fox a lot too. Big fan of Fox. Portillo's, is that Portillo's or Portillo's? That's a Chicago chain, right? I've never been there before, but I hear that's a big deal if you go to Chicago. Hot dogs, and they have the cake shake is their thing. Are you aware of this?
No, I've never heard of it.
Yeah, I've never been to Chicago. It's on the list. Giddy or Vuk? Mr. Richard wants to know. Well, that's a tricky conversation because salary and position. Giddy versus Vuk?
I mean, Giddy's way safer, but I do like Vuk quite a bit for GPPs. I think if you're trying to win all the money, I'd go Vucevic.
Lord King Guru brings up an interesting name. Patrick Williams. How many minutes are we giving him? Because we're still only giving him 20.
Yeah, I don't think his minutes
are going to... he plays 25? Like, why? I know he just came back and he played 15 or so. Can he get a jump in minutes? Maybe not.
Yeah, I don't know.
He was gone for a while.
His projection didn't change at all. So our team is saying no.
Yeah, fair enough. Didn't project.
We're a little bit lower than other sites, but still not by that much though.
We're giving Lonzo 20 minutes for what it's worth, Mr. Irrelevance, and I don't know how much higher we can go. Right, Lonzo is fragile, but like he at 4K, I think he could get there in 20 minutes. And he's played 20 minutes not too long ago. 2019, that's basically where he's going to push it to, maybe 21, 22. I think he's in the pool. He's not my first play, but I think he's interesting, Lonzo. But all right, let's go ahead. And we got TJ coming in. I think Kirkwood as well. But crunch time. It's starting right now. It's TJ. Kirkwood's coming in momentarily. Maybe I scared him away because I accused him. And I think it wasn't a false accusation. He very clearly stole my picture. The evidence is right there in the Discord. So maybe he doesn't want to own up to it. I'm not really sure what's going on. Oh, there he is. Kirkwood.
What did I miss?
Wear your sunglasses, Kirkwood. If you want to go on the full gimmick, put the sunglasses on.
Oh, so I've had this for 2 weeks, Dean. You finally caught it?
I just finally noticed it.
Yeah, it's and the reason is it's a badass picture. We do the rankings, the expert rankings every day, and I look at all of our stupid pictures, and then there's you looking like a boss with your shades on. And it's like I was like, that's the greatest picture.
It wasn't intentional. It just sort of happened organically, I suppose.
How do you unintentionally wear sunglasses to a work picture?
So we were supposed to. Andy told me to take it outside, get some natural light, that kind of thing. And if you go outside, my sunglasses or my regular glasses adjust into sunglasses. Technology is wild. It's amazing. So it tints up when sunlight creeps in. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I know you're well actually me, but I actually had a good answer. For that. All right. Tim, anything else? We're getting out of here?
No, I think we're good.
All right. Y'all got 39 minutes. 39, and I guess, TJ, you were playing the role of Roth and host, and, you're all over the place. You're as I think Kirkwood coined, I believe he called you the Taysom Hill of RotoGrinders. Do you accept that is that flattering?
Yeah, I'm a little less injury prone, but equally explosive for sure.
Well, I don't know about equally explosive. I think you're rounding up there, but
he's explosive. He is. That's how he got part of the nickname.
Fair enough. That was Tim. I was Dean. Don't go anywhere. You got 38 minutes of crunch time. TJ, it's all yours.
Wow. So we have no Roth?
We got no Roth. It's just you and I, my friend. And so I'm going to be Roth. I'm going to be TJ. And it's NBA crunch time, leading you right up until lock. I was going to say no time for pleasantries. We got to dive right into it, but it's only 6 games and it's a pretty straightforward slate. We got one game way above everything else. We got a second game way above the other 4, and then the other 4 just kind of sitting there.
I got it. Yeah, I hear that. I got to address chat here with, they're talking about my haircut. I wore a hat the other day. They tell me to take the hat off. I take the hat off. I didn't take the hat off because I said I needed a haircut. Now they're all saying nice haircut, but they're actually messing with me because I need a haircut. I haven't been able to get a haircut. And so here I am. Anyways.
What do you think of this little 6-gamer we got?
I think it's good. It's fun. It seems like news is coming in and stuff changing, but it's not really changing that much. Like Zach LaVine doesn't move the needle that much. Little bit, but that can be distributed. It's going to be distributed out to, a bunch of guys, whether it's Giddy, Io, Cody, and then also Vooch. It's like, doesn't quite move the needle for me, but they are all in play. But yeah, it's a nice little slate. You get a little break. Problem is we got the 2 NFL games too to immediately move on to, but you get the little break, and then we gotta sweat the late night games too after. So it's fun little night.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be fun to dive into. Right after this at 7:15 Eastern time, we got Chop and we got Beer hopping in for some NFL content. We got the 2-game slate tonight instead of just 1, as well as a fun NBA slate, like Kirkwood said. So, we got some fun stuff in store tonight. Stay tuned. Smash the like button. Hit the notification bell. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on all the great shows that we have. And
you know what else is fun? Splash Sports.
I was literally just going to say, and to make sure you get access to all of it, you go to you get some RotoGrinders combo because it's the busiest time in the sports calendar, which means it's the perfect time to sign up for RotoGrinders combo for a limited time. Get your first month of combo access for just $79.99. That's just $5 more than NBA Premium. Don't pass up this great value. And if you don't want full combo, you can get the props and pick'em package. Expert picks for all your favorite sites with props and pick'em. Our elite sports betting and fantasy pick'em package features bets and analysis from your favorite RotoGrinders experts. Props and pick'em also includes tools and data powered by our hard-working projections team. Don't make a bet without it. And if you don't want to make a bet, you just want to put them in some pick'em sites, you go over to Splash Sports, because if you haven't signed up for Splash Sports, still now is the time. Use promo code ROTO10. They have a big college football contest with 11 total games that is locking on Friday night. $50 entry to join, and you can win up to $15K. So you're more of a college football guy than I am, I think.
We can't. No, I'm not, because of.
Did you watch it at all?
No, a little bit. I bet on it on Saturdays, like here and there, but I can't play college football DFS in Massachusetts, and we can't bet on Massachusetts teams either. So I remember I wanted to put a bet in on Boston College, and I was like, how come I can't see this? Like it's all the sports books. They don't even show it to us.
This might be a better one to make sure I ask Chop when we get to the NFL show, but you got a favorite for the national championship?
No, I don't. Ask Chop. He has one.
We're not worried about college football right now. We're worried about NBA. We want to win tonight. And so if you want access to some of the most advanced NBA data in the market, get shot quality projections for Lineup HQ. RotoGrinders.com/shot quality. You get 1 month access for $40 or yearly for $200. Just want to give it a test run. Then you can try a 3-day pass for $99.99. We did it. That's all of them. Boom. Let's play some NBA DFS. Let's start at the point guard position on FanDuel. Who do you like today at point guard? We're probably playing some Bulls.
Give me a moment to set up. I was going to ask about the boom that Steve was rocking the bringing the boom over there. So we're going to bring the boom. I'm a Costco guy. You're a Costco guy. They're the Costco guys. They kind of stole that from us, I think. The Costco guys, that's been my thing. But all right, I'm going to give James Harden 5 booms. Boom. No. James Harden is a player that I like a lot for a stud against Utah. Just a great matchup. This game stays close. And he's been in good form. He looks good so far. He's on a little run here. So I like him. I love Tyrese Maxey. And I don't think he's going to get too much ownership. So I really like that. I obviously like Cade Cunningham, triple-double machine, and good at the basketballs. So definitely like him. and his ownership isn't coming in too high either. The other guys, the Sacramento game, that's probably the best game. One of two of the best games to attack. The other being the Raptors game, but Malik Monk is certainly a good play. De'Aaron Fox is a great play. I like him a lot. And then we have the Bulls rounded out with like Kobe White, Josh Giddey, and Io. All got a boost, but not a huge boost. So there. And I have to. I was on the show the other night, and I gave out the Roop poop of the day. Is from this comes over from chat, and it's the Roop Opto play, and he nailed it with Jaden, who absolutely went off. And so I owe it to him to keep the streak alive and let him give another play tonight. So his favorite play is Josh Giddey, and his honorable mention is Mark Williams. Now, take it for granted, this is a guy who just got arrested at a dog park. So, credibility may not be the greatest, but those are his plays.
Very interesting. Yeah, I'm going all in on the Toronto-Chicago game today. It's going to be chalky, but I'm hopefully just going to be playing more of it than everybody else on this slate. Kobe White's going to be my top option, and I want to get to as much as Josh Giddey as I can as well. In terms of cash game options over on FanDuel, I think Malik Monk is very viable. I think Tyrese Maxey is viable, as is De'Aaron Fox. But I do think I want to make sure I'm prioritizing Josh Giddey and Kobe White in this spot. Shooting guard Grady Dick is really underpriced. He is a absolute lock from a cash game perspective today, and I still think he's totally fine in tournaments. Tim noting in chat, great note from Tim, we got KJ Martin starting over Gershon Yabusele today. Wow. I still think Yabusele is somewhat viable, but maybe that does bump up Drummond a little bit, if anything. Paul George looking nice here. Drew Smith, a salary saver. Who do you like at shooting guard?
Yeah, so it's going to be a lot of the same names, but I like we're going to have Grady Dick to that. So he's only 5,200. He's priced really nicely on FanDuel. Been scoring. Obviously, they don't have quickly. The real scoring play we'll get to is RJ Barrett, but Grady Dick on FanDuel is too cheap. Should play 30-plus minutes again, and he's definitely out there trying to get buckets. So like him, like Malik Monk, like I said, love Paul George with Embiid out. I actually prefer, if you're trying to make a choice between Maxey or Paul George, I prefer Maxey. Paul just hasn't, first of all, he's an older guy. We all know that, a lot of mileage on him, but Maxey is a young stud. But I feel like they're going to play
like Dean.
What?
Didn't know you were just like Dean.
Yeah, of course. Only in sports and some other things, but Paul George. So I prefer Maxey. Maxey may play like 40-plus minutes. Like we know they can't help themselves playing a ton of minutes. And Maxey is like the one guy that will play like he could play the whole game if they need him. So love Maxey. Norman Powell is a good play. Ayu Dosunmu again. Kelly Oubre is another play. Maybe doesn't have the highest of ceilings, so it's hard to get two really solid halves out of him, but he definitely has one in him. So, and he's only 5,700, and without Embiid, I think he's good. Tyler Hero, I'm kind of interested too. And then I want to hear it. Like Drew Smith seems like disgusting chalk coming off the bench, but he did see like over 30 minutes the other day. But Spoelstra also tweaks his rotations by matchup, so you can never trust it. But he's cheap, and he's cheaper on DraftKings, but he's also 4,200 on FanDuel. And if you really need it, he's kind of the punt.
All right, take me over to small forward.
All right, small forward. So this is going to be RJ Barrett. I mean, the dude has really, really been awesome this season. I'm going to pull it up here, and he, like, if you just look, first of all, everyone's gone, and so he's had to step up. But he sees massive usage, so he has 30-plus usage games. This is a really good matchup. He's good in transition. This game should play a lot in transition. It's like the ultimate matchup, all right? We're always looking to go against the Bulls because they play so fast and they play such poor defense. So RJ Barrett, one of my favorite studs tonight, and it's crazy calling him a stud. That's where we've evolved to. But other than that, Jimmy Butler, Paul George again. We're waiting on Keegan Murray news. I'm kind of expecting him to be out, so I won't list him as a player. Norman Powell, did I say that? I think I did. Cam Johnson for Brooklyn. If they can hang around, which I highly doubt they can, like they're without Dennis Schroeder now, like they're just a team that has no scoring really. So there's two ways to play this if you even want to play this at all, but this is GVP stuff. Like Cam Johnson will be the guy with taking all the shots and number one, he should lead the team with usage. Ben Simmons isn't a bad play on FanDuel because he can produce. He still has limited minutes though, but like a really out there GVP play would be like what's his name? Shake Milton for the second unit and high usage, also a potential blowout. I think he could get there too. So that's kind of a tough game to play because it shouldn't be that competitive, but you never know.
That's where I'm at too. The only player I'm getting to in that game actually is Shake Milton on DraftKings. Cameron Johnson, like you said, though, he's looking like a nice play on FanDuel, showing up with some positive leverage in the SimLabs tool. I'm good with playing Paul George, especially on FanDuel where you get the steals bonus. He's showing up with some positive leverage. I like Kelly Oubre at 5,700. Probably wouldn't play them together, though, especially because we're still waiting on some potential news here for the Kings. More stuff opening up later. But you're definitely playing a Raptor at this position, at least one, and you can play two. Grady Dick and RJ Barrett, I think the top guys here by far. No Bulls that I'm like super amped up to play here, but does Buzelis have small forward eligibility on FanDuel? Because if he does, I think Buzelis would be viable there as a salary saver. Power forward position, RJ Barrett can be played here as well. Like this is chalk you just want to eat today. He's showing up for 45%, 44% projected ownership. That's still lower than his optimal rate. This is good chalk today. This is a guy that we're looking to be getting to in a perfect matchup. Mogbo, I think, is a little bit more volatile. I would probably play him in cash games at 4,800, but there definitely is a route to a floor there, and Raptors do funky things all the time. It's very possible he doesn't end up starting this one. If that's the case, I would sour on him a little bit because you need minutes for him to get there. DeMar DeRozan at 7,700 on FanDuel is a really nice play. Buzelis, there he is, only power forward eligibility. So you can't play him at small forward, but he does project here at power forward. Yabusele's off the bench, but I still think he's fine. Ben Simmons, I just don't know if the ceiling's there. Aaron Gordon, I do like at 5,700 against the Kings. How about you?
Yep, I'm just gonna say that I do like Mogbo. If he doesn't start, then I would reevaluate. But I mean, it's just he got 30 minutes against the Heat. That's the much tougher matchup in this one. Now he gets the best matchup against the Bulls. You know, that should lead to some more defensive stats in there for him, which he definitely needs. I mean, it's not like he did a ton in that 30 minutes. He got 24 fantasy points, but I feel like he's just building off of that in this matchup tonight, and he should clear that easily. So I do like him, and we're kind of struggling for like value, so that's why he's popping so much. But if he can get 30 plus minutes and he's 4,800 on FanDuel against the Bulls, I'm fine with it. RJ Barrett, like you said, we both love. Sabonis, he actually has a somewhat decent history. Let me think. I think if I remember correctly, has a couple of decent games against the Joker. If you're not playing Joker, I like lineups with playing Sabonis for tournaments. Who else are we on? So I like Drummond. He's more expensive on FanDuel. I still think he's in play. Am I on center or power forward?
We're just finishing up power forward, so you can transition as a center if you want.
Yeah, sorry, I got pinged. All right, so center position, Jakob Poeltl against the Bulls. Love Vooch on the other side of that as well. Both of those guys really strong plays. Joker is the top stud on the slate. Obviously, Zubac gets probably the tougher matchup against. It's a great matchup overall, Utah, and that should help him in this game. He probably gets the toughest matchup with Walker Kessler for his game because they're going to try to both bang it down low, and it's not like he's going to be lighting it up from the outside, which he would have a huge advantage if he did, but he doesn't. So he's going to be kind of. I've seen some people write him up today. He's not going to be too popular, so I think he's still in play, but I don't love it. Bam, I like. I like Drummond. Even he should be extremely low owned on FanDuel, and without Uvaselli starting, that probably helps him. And he's a little overpriced on FanDuel, but you can get away with it. He hasn't done it really. Hasn't flashed that Drummond ceiling that we all know and love this season. So we're waiting for that. But this certainly could be the matchup. Although their defense is getting a little better down low, Charlotte, right now with Mark Williams back. So it's not a slam dunk, but I like him. And then you could play Claxton, but beware that there's a minutes and blowout risk there. So that I'd have to be really far, like a lot of, and only in GPPs. And then John Collins, also a GPP play for me.
Yeah, I forgot to mention Collins at power forward, but he's got a really nice price tag on FanDuel, cheaper than he is on DraftKings. Pirtle is definitely the guy you're going to in cash games. Anytime Bam Adebayo is chalky, I just X him out of my pool because he rarely shows that big of a ceiling. Sabonis is fine. Duran is fine at a nice cheap price tag. I like the Zubats call. Vucevic is a fantastic play at low ownership today, and you're never going to get this low-owned Nikola Jokic on a small condensed slate like this. So he is a phenomenal play for tournaments if you can get there. It is tough at that 12.5 price tag over on FanDuel. Let's make the pivot to DraftKings. We got about 20 minutes to lock here, so make sure you get your lineups in, get your questions in. I'll go to the RotoGrinders live stream Discord chat for questions first. I'll go to the YouTube chat second, as long as YouTube is smashing that like button. We got like 400 people watching right now. Only 65 people hit that like button. If we want QQs, I'm putting my foot down today. We want QQs from the YouTube chat. Give me 100 likes. 100 likes on YouTube should be nice and easy. We'll give you our favorite slate breaking plays of the nights at 100 likes, and we'll start taking QQs then as well. We got to bump these likes way, way, way up, though. Point guard position on DraftKings, I'm getting to a lot of Chicago Bulls. I have 60% Kobe White, hopefully going to be well over the field there. I have 50% Josh Giddey, hopefully going to be well over the field there. Running 150 lineups tonight, and I got 30% Ayo Dosunmu. So another guy I'm looking to be heavily overweight on. I'm even taking shots on Lonzo Ball today. I don't think he's going to be putting up big minutes by any means. I don't think he's going to benefit from the Levine stuff, but he's been playing 17 to 19 minutes a night and smashing every other night. So I think he's interesting for tournaments. I'm getting a 30% Drew Smith. I don't feel good about it, but he is really cheap. De'Aaron Fox is an awesome play. And everybody else is kind of leftovers for me, but I'm getting 10% Harden, 10% Cunningham, 10% Maxey. Wish I was getting more of those three. It's just tough because of how many Bulls I want to get to. And then I do have a little bit of Kevin Porter, a little bit of Malik Monk, a little bit of Shake Milton.
Yeah. Maxey's my favorite play. Just based on ownership levels. And, with LaMelo back, they should be a little bit faster, and also there should be more steal opportunities and things like that. So hopefully he stays out of foul trouble, which he's pretty good about that. So I just think that Maxey could go off in this spot tonight. So I really like him. I like James Harden because of the matchup, and if the game stays close, which I think it probably will. Cade Cunningham, obviously, I like your Kobe White call. I do prefer him over Giddey if you're trying to narrow it down. I like Kobe first, then I like Ayo Dosunmu, then I like Giddey. But all three are in play. Monk is still in play. Tyler Hero, low owned with a good upside, and then also another low owned with good upside. It could be Jamal Murray. So and then I still think you can play Ben Simmons at 5,500. The blowout would kill him. He'll be the first to go. But if they do somehow stay in, he's just priced cheaply. He could – it's not the best spot, but he could get, potentially get close to a triple-double in this game if it stayed close. It's not a great matchup. Probably won't happen. But for tournaments, I like taking a shot.
Shooting guard, a lot of the same names. Kobe White over here as well. Ayo Dosunmu over here as well. In cash, you're probably going Giddy at point guard, Kobe White at shooting guard, and then RJ Barrett at small forward. And those are the first three positions you're going to be plugging in from a cash game. But other options at shooting guard that I like, Malik Beasley is a good salary saver. I mentioned Ayo and Lonzo already. We talked about Monk. Grady Dick is not as cheap as he is on DraftKings, or on FanDuel, but I still think he's a great play. Somebody that I'd be wanting to get to a lot in this spot. It's pace up. There's not going to be a lot of defense. He's going to score as long as his shots fall in. So I like Dick in tournaments. Duncan Robinson I don't like, but I do have a little bit of. As then my only guys sub 10%, Shake Milton and Kelly Oubre. How about you?
Yeah, I like a lot of those same plays. Also, I like? So wait, we're shooting guard still?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Grady Dick, Kobe White, like you said, Monk. I think Malik Beasley's interesting. I think he's overowned, at least from a projected ownership. But I think a lot of people are going to come in under on him. And I think this is a good spot. You know, the Heat are below average and opponent made threes per game. Malik Beasley's somebody who's willing to chuck it. Even if he doesn't start, do we have any lineups coming out yet? Oscar Thompson's starting. Yeah, he's not starting. So this is more of an out there play. He's probably if the ownership still stays for some reason, which it probably won't, then he'd be a bad play. But at ownership, I think no one's going to play him, and I think running that second unit and chucking shots, and also Thompson isn't going to get a lot of minutes. He's on a minutes limit, working his way back to getting into game shape here, coming off injury. So he's interesting to me, and I think a lot of people will want to fade. Other than that, Ayo again, Oubre. I'd probably pass on Duncan Robinson, but wouldn't shock me. And if you were thinking about playing Duncan Robinson, I would look to play a guy like Terry Rozier. This is out there for GPPs. Oh, and I didn't even mention Keon Ellis is 3,400, and he should benefit the most with Herter being out. He may get the start, and 3,400, he could totally blow through that.
Yeah, he's not a guy that typically does a whole lot in the minutes that he's out there, but he's 3,400, so he also doesn't need to. And if you get Keegan Murray out as well, he's definitely somebody who could see some upside from that. So I like that call quite a bit. Small forward position, I am just kind of doing a couple rebuilds right now, adjusting some things, trying to get to a little bit more Bulls and Raptors than I even already had. But small forward for me, it's all about RJ Barrett. Beasley you can play here too. I'm getting a Buzelis as a salary saver, and I'm playing some gross Miami plays like Highsmith and Hawkes as well as punts. I do have a little bit of Paul George and Jimmy Butler, but not a lot. This is really all about RJ Barrett for me, getting to as much as I possibly can of Barrett.
Yep, for good reason. Great play. Other than that, Paul George, Jimmy Butler is another side, but it's he doesn't, unless it's a good game to get up for, he's just going to be so passive. But if the game stays close in the second half, he's going to turn it on. Absolutely. He just has that switch. So Detroit doesn't seem like the best matchup for him, but I do think, and I would probably play Tyler Hero over him, but I still don't mind him. DeMar DeRozan, I think, is someone that should be mentioned, and also Lauri Markkanen.
All right, power forward position. People are asking about what the seasons are like in Canada, and we got fall with a kick. It's not just regular autumn; it's fall with a kick. It's colder, the leaves fall faster, and it gets dark really quick. Then we got the cold, dark, dead winter, where people forget that Celsius and Fahrenheit begin to match up, and it's minus 20 degrees, minus 30 degrees, minus 40 degrees, sometimes minus 50 degrees, sometimes. No, I'm not exaggerating. Right now, it's minus 10, minus 15. Then
but you know what?
We have the melt. What?
You don't pay any taxes on DFS winnings, so it's a wash.
Oh yeah, universal health care, no taxes on DFS
Yeah.
winnings. We got some big wins over here. After winter, we have the melt, where it's just slushy and wet all the time. And then we have the most beautiful summers you could possibly imagine, just 80 to 90 degrees for 3 months straight. Sun, absolutely perfect. Power forward position, you got eligibility for RJ Barrett here. I have 78% RJ on my latest build. Mogbo is my second highest owned guy. I got 40%. Buzelis. Then I am taking some like super nasty gross shots, hoping Keegan Murray is out on a guy like. No, I don't like how much this is giving me right now, but I did have some. The optimizer was spitting me some Isaac Jones, who I bumped it up a little bit in the case that Keegan Murray was not going to play. But there's no way I can get 20% Isaac Jones, a guy who might play like 6 minutes today.
Yeah,
Who do you like power forward?
I like RJ Barrett, like you said. I like Mogbo. Paul George, I like. Aaron Gordon. This guy's gonna turn it on soon. He like every game so far that I've been waiting for him, it's been a blowout. And this game should be competitive, as a nice high total. The Nuggets are actually underdog, which is weird to me. I don't know what I'm missing, but I'm gonna be betting on Denver in this game tonight as a dog, but it should stay close, should be competitive, and he's 5,500. So I really like that. And we don't know if Braun's in or out yet. And then other than that, maybe DeMar DeRozan, same name as Lauri Markkanen, or Michael Porter Jr. is interesting as well.
All right. Center position, who do you like?
Center. All right.
I kind of sewered you there because usually I do mine first and give you time to switch over. But I did a new set of lineups building, and I deleted the last one, so I didn't actually know who I was playing in center. But with the new one that just popped up, I got over 40% of both Pirtle and Vucevic.
Yeah. Both really strong plays. Joker, really strong play. If you can afford it. Andre Drummond, I think, is a strong play. I'm waiting for more of a ceiling game. Who else at center? It's like it's so much opportunity cost. You got to get it right. I mean, there's Bam, there's Vooch, there's Zubac. Like all these guys are in play. Kessler's in play, and I wouldn't go anywhere past any of those guys that I said, because there's all these guys are really solid plays tonight. Double center night on DraftKings.
Big time double center night on DraftKings. We also did just get starting lineup for the Raptors, and Mogbo is in the starting lineup, so fire him up with confidence. We don't have to worry about that at all. He should still be getting the minutes as long as he is not in foul trouble or anything like that. Smash that like button. Let's get up over 100, and I'll start taking some QQs from the YouTube chat. I mentioned liking Vucevic and Pirtle, but I'm also going to be doubling the field on Nikola Jokic today at center. I got 23%. Love him in tournaments. Smash that like button. I'm going to the Discord first. DKGPP, Jonathan Mogbo or KJ Martin. That is Jonathan Mogbo by so much. Yeah. Drew Smith, just Drew Smith, question mark. I think we both think he is maybe not great, but also viable because of how cheap he is.
He's come out of nowhere. He's undrafted. He was playing in the G League. He's a scorer. He did play for Missouri in college. This is what you get when you Google before the show on the Wikipedia on somebody. But anyway, I just know Spo, and just because he got a bunch of minutes, 30+ minutes in his last game, doesn't mean he's going to get that tonight. So I think he's really there's so many options for Spo to play around with. So I like the idea of fading him, but if you really need him, or if you're playing cash and he's in the cash field, then by all means play him, but try to beat him in tournaments.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. I'm way down from the 30+% I had, and I'm in the teens now, so I feel much better about that for Drew Smith tonight. Alexander the Don says, hit that like button for our RG fam. Couldn't agree more. Who are the must plays today in cash? You're looking at Josh Giddey, Colby White, RJ Barrett, Jonathan Mogbo, Jakob Pertl. Those are your must plays in cash today. 2 Bulls, 3 Raptors. You can get more than that in cash as well, but you're looking at 2 Bulls, 3 Raptors as your must plays in DK cash today. QQ, if Keegan Murray is out too with Herter, would there be a lock on the Kings? Really liking DeRozan. DeRozan's FanDuel price tag looks really, really good. Less so on DraftKings. I think he's still fine over there. It would make Keon Ellis look like an interesting cheapie. It would bump Monk up, and Sabonis and Fox are probably each going to play 40 minutes at least in this one.
I love Fox.
Yeah, Fox is great play today. I understand it's a NBA show, but one guy you each love for NFL DFS tonight. Reminder, we do have right after this, we got Chop, we got Beer coming in to give you their top plays, but somebody I mean, this isn't hot take by any means, but I have 100% Bijan Robinson. I'm playing about 40 lineups, and I have Bijan Robinson in all 40 of them. How about you? You got any stands for tonight?
I think it's Brock Bowers flop lag. I think he comes back, bounces back from a really bad, week where he crushed everybody and goes off tonight. I love Bijan too. Obviously, I think Bijan. I mean, on a 2-game slate, you're playing Bijan no matter what. Yeah. So I guess that those are my 2 key guys. But like, if you want some more out there, I don't know, like Rome Odunze or TJ Hawkinson, they're all going to be owned a ton too. But
Alexander the Don always sends me messages in the Discord chat in French because he knows I'm a former French teacher. But he said, "Merci beaucoup, TJ. Tu es cette chèvre." But that means the goat. But it doesn't really work in French because it's not. The letters don't line up to greatest of all time.
Yeah,
it just looks like you're calling somebody the animal. And so that.
Like, what do you mean? What do you mean by that?
Know for sure if that was the insult or a compliment there. Yahoo Cash. This is your bag right here. Jamal Murray and Yabusele, or Giddey and Oubre?
I would go Giddey and Oubre. I have none of those 4 in my lineup.
What do you think about Levert today in tournaments? I'm not getting there.
No, the only thing I'll highlight there is maybe there's a tiny bit of revenge in him. Maybe they let him. A lot of these teams are all rested too because there's been like a big break here, or a couple of day break for a lot of teams, and like the schedule has been slow, and it's going to be like we only have 1 game tomorrow, and then we get a day off on Wednesday for the NBA. That's crazy.
Eric Johnson asking, what are some swear words in French? And interestingly enough, there aren't one set of swear words for French. If you go to Quebec, the swears are totally different than if you go to France, which are totally different than if you go to elsewhere that speak French in the world. So interestingly enough, it's totally depends where you get it from. 3 more likes away from 100. Thanks for reminding me beyond the rabbit hole. Smash that like button, YouTube. Come on. What do you got in a T from Locke wants to know from you specifically, or T from LOC wants to know from you specifically, DeAndre Swift or Sincere McCormick?
Swifty.
Let's see. There we go. Beaucoup de personnes qui parlent français dans le chat. Lots of French speakers in the chat. I love to see it. FanDuel GPP, last piece. You okay with KPJ?
Yeah, I do. I tagged him for a value piece. The problem is he won't be getting a ton of minutes, but it's a good. There's also plenty of blowout risk that he might get a few extra minutes in the 4th quarter too, potential whenever you play Utah. But the matchup is great. I think he should be able to produce at a high level when he's on the floor. The problem is he doesn't have much of a minute ceiling, but I like him. for value when you need it. I mean, like I feel like even if like you're looking at like Drew Smith, like I like the idea of playing KPJ over Drew Smith, but
so we got best forward under 4,100 on DK. I would say Buzelis is the top option for a forward under 4,100. My second option, if you want somebody super sneaky, Jaime Jaquez. He's been popping in there every now and then and putting up some ceiling games for the Heat lately.
Well, there's also, he was like sick for a little while too, so I don't think like his minutes being so far down. I don't know.
Those Drew Smith minutes could pop back to Jaquez.
That's what I've been saying too with Spo. It's like we never know. Like Jaquez against the Celtics, he played 37 minutes and went for 43 fantasy points, right? And then his minutes have been down to like 17, 19. It's all Spo does these crazy things. Nobody's set in stone. So he could certainly be a really good play tonight. 3,700.
All right. We have hit 100 likes. Shout out to the chat for smashing that like button. Let's give out our slate breaking plays today. Who do you got that's going to be breaking the slate? I mean, look, it's obvious, but my top option is RJ Barrett. Like I have 80% to RJ Barrett today.
I'll give my favorite is Maxey. And I love RJ
a lot sneakier than mine. So I will say RJ Barrett is my guy. I think the sneaky salary saver that could really get you there today is Jaime Jaquez. That's where I'm going to for today in tournaments. That seems like we have hit all the important questions. We got a few people goofing around in chat, but we got one more from Beaner 1290, FanDuel GPP and Cash, DeRozan and Maxey, or Fox and Markkanen. I like Fox best of that group, but I wouldn't want to play Markkanen, so I'm on the DeRozan Maxey side. How about you?
Yeah, DeRozan Maxey, me too. And what is it? What's do you guys know what a Beaner is in Canada?
Isn't that someone from Boston?
Well, no, not really. But
Beantown.
It's like, is that what you said when someone says Beaner?
Yeah, that's
what comes to your mind. That's where you go. Is that from Boston?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Why is Boston Beantown?
There's like baked bean story. We'll do a history show the next. I
know Chicago's got like a big bean in it.
Yeah, it's something. Boston baked beans are like a famous thing.
Last piece, Hardaway or Ausar Thompson? Oof, neither of them, but Thompson, if you're going one of them. We are 1 minute away till lock. Steve's got plans. We got NFL right after this with beer and chop. So that'll do it for NBA Crunch Time today. Good luck tonight, everyone. We will see you later tonight for NFL. Actually, maybe not again tomorrow because there's only one NBA game tomorrow. But we'll be back on Wednesday. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. I'm TJ. That's Kirkdiese. Steve's behind the scenes. You have been crunched.